Anybody need another beer or anything before we start?
Yep.
Yep. Right. All right.
That's it.
Here's your order.
Hey, you want some?
Thank you. I saw that. Did you see it? Did you catch it? You caught it, did you?
I seen that.
That son of a bitch. That's the only reason you wanted to do it. Hey, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Ghostcast podcast. I'm your host, JP Ashworth, Keith Coleman, and today we're with Nathan Mann of Beards and Bows. Nathan, how you doing, bud?
How's it going?
Going good. Keithy?
Oh, Keithy's doing just fine. Keithy's doing just fine. Beer in hand. It's a Sunday.
That's right. Why don't you give us a little introduction, because you know him better than I do, and kind of set the tone for everybody.
We met at a archery shoot that we had went to, and I told him, I said, man, we're going to be having a podcast here for too long. The other things that we done, I'd love to have you on sometime. We just kind of hit it off that place, and then obviously we came back to it when the time was right. And
Right.
we plan on doing some other hunting, some other fishing, throughout the year. He's out the lake, he says, all the time and whatnot, in the Mark Twain Lake where we're at. So it's kind of perfect. It's kind of a perfect little place for all of us to kind of get around and do these things. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so speaking about, Beards and Bows, real quick before we get crazy into it, where was your passion behind it? Like I heard you say something when we were walking earlier about your kids. You wanted that space for you to kind of go out and just be warm and obviously get out of the elements. But
Right. So the idea behind this, it started out as a deer blind that morphed into what you see now, but it was it turned into a spot to where you can get warmed up versus the car, the kids, the grandkids, nieces, nephews. They got a place to hunt. You're going to have to do some editing. But
no, you're good.
We're not even a half a beer in, man. What's going on here?
But just as a place that we could gather as deer camp, home base, you can branch out of here, go hunting. You don't have to sit in your car and try to warm up on those cold winter days. Mm-hmm. But it's turned out pretty nice. We got the wife's nephew on his first deer out of here, so that I was excited to be a part of that.
Yeah, making memories. I mean, obviously that's what we do.
Yes,
this. The first time I seen this, I thought, I wonder how many memories are going to be made in that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a first thing that I thought about was man, there's got to be some memories made in that. And then that time I watched, like I was telling you, my favorite thing was when you were playing National Lampoons in here, watching TV and hunting. I'm like, that's my speed, dude, all day long. All day long.
Yep.
So you said you do a lot of cooking and stuff like that on the side. I see that on your channel all the time.
Yeah. I also have another channel called Mediocre Barbecue.
Oh, okay. I had no idea about that one.
Play on words, making fun of myself, but it's far from mediocre. But I just always, I like that name, so
yeah,
just kind of stuck.
There you go.
But
there you go.
Yes, anytime I can cook, whether it be boat, shoreline, right over there on the wood stove, duck blind. I'm the cook.
Yep.
Gotta love that food.
Oh yeah. Like I sent him a message after he had this post one time. And it was like him eating duck sausage, and then literally 2 seconds later, it was bow bow, and I'm like, that's also my speed. I was like, I could do that right there.
Yep.
So because duck hunting's stressful enough. Like to me, we talk about duck hunting all the time. I'm not a big duck hunter, but I feel like it's stressful. Like I feel like duck hunting is stressful sometimes.
It's stressful when you're sitting there for 4 hours and nothing shows up. Kind of like deer hunting, It's like, hey, you want to just go bird watching and squirrel watching in the duck blind?
Well, my brother-in-law, he loves to duck hunt, and I helped him the night before get his gear together.
Yeah.
And we're pulling all these. I'm like, man, this seems like a lot of work. And he was getting up that morning to drive like an hour to go hunt for maybe an hour. And then drive an hour back. And then that's just me though. That seems like a lot. And it's cold.
You don't get a lot of meat. Like, let's be real. Like, I'm not here to. I want something to eat. You know what I mean? When as JP, I'm leaving with something. You know what I mean? Let's leave with something. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel, man, and not to any of the duck hunters. I think because I've been duck hunting, it is absolute blast. It is an absolute blast to go and just do. But me personally, man, I call me what it is. I'm not going to get up for an hour, get soaking wet cold, throw out decoys for 2 hours. I don't have any. I have a passion for a lot of outdoor things.
Yeah.
That's not what you probably know who roomed me on. That was my buddy Ben from Washington, dude. Mm-hmm. Dude, that was literally the most miserable rain I've ever been in my entire life.
Man.
And it didn't stop. I was like, when is it going to stop? It's like, it doesn't.
Raining all day.
Well, rain is something you definitely don't have to worry about
in here.
And so what we're looking at now, we'll put some of the shots, the B-roll on the screen. Give me a time frame from the time it was just the blind to now. Or you may have already mentioned it. Well, was that like a couple years, or was it just gradual here and there, pieced together?
No, it was about 3 years ago. It was before season, like August, September, and I end up getting it finished enough to be able to like kind of hunt, set it up as home base. Probably right around rut,
Right.
Is when I finally finished it. And I think it took me like 21 different trips to get this all together and everything. Initially.
Home Depot, forget it, and like you got to go back, or are you saying 21 trips like just to bring stuff?
Just to come out here to build.
Gotcha.
And because, it's a 35-minute drive each way. So
right.
I'd come out here and, I'd have a couple friends that would help me, a couple family members that would help me. And a lot of times it was just me,
Right.
I'm carrying sheets of tin, all the way up on the ladder by myself. And
I know that. I know that all too well.
But I got it this far, and it's still a work in progress. It'll still morph and things will change. A thing that we're talking about now is we got the insulation foam board behind this camo. We're talking about doing the spray foam.
Yeah.
So that would make a huge difference.
Oh, huge difference.
Here.
So 3 years, grand scheme of things, that's not a very long time.
No.
So I imagine there's going to be a lot of memories made here. To date, what is the most memorable since it's been like this that you've had hunting here?
I'd probably say that deer I got in 22. Mm-hmm. Just I got my kids on the blood tracking, and it was just I got that on my YouTube, that video there. So it's I go back and look at it and already get the warm fuzzies over it.
Yeah.
So
we'll put a link in the description there and go check that out.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was saying before. Like places like this, you can put something, your heart and soul. And we're doing it right now with the studio we have now, where it's you put that much heart and soul into something, man. It is different. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's 100 inches or 200 inches. It's special because it's here. You know what I mean? That's cool that you can create a space like that. You know what I mean? That's what matters.
Definitely.
I think that's
and it's hard for me to be still.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'm thinking of when I walk in here is like, okay, how much can I get away with?
Right.
How much can I get away with? I see one out there. Well, I need to go over here and piss. Which there is a little place to do
right
that.
there. I think it's great.
Yep.
Is that an old antifreeze?
It's an old Roundup jug.
I guarantee everything is going down. It's killing stuff at the bottom now. But I imagine that you talked about how you had to do some support stuff to it. But I imagine if you're pretty closed up, you could get away with a lot. And
yeah, and I'm actually contemplating,
especially with kids.
Yeah, I'm actually contemplating putting some tent on the windows that actually face that field because, like I said, it's more elevated out there, so they can see directly in. Like versus over here, they can't really see you much. But
where that elevation you were showing us, they're pretty much eye level.
Well, yeah, you can look at it like you would be pretty much, especially there.
And if a deer's coming this way, he's going to skyline you through these windows.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So a lot of times I have most of the windows almost completely shut, and then, you're just kind of window peeking.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's always a second story option, I imagine, if you want to get really crazy.
You could, yeah. You could just get wild with it. And we could have a sniper spot on the top.
I thought of just laying up on the roof.
You could have a sniper spot on that. That'd be cool. It'd be just a story in its own.
Because you can really see everything from up there.
And outside of this camp here, you were talking about, it's kind of the branch. It's kind of the home base. You know what I mean? You get to go. So you have these other spots you dive off into, and then this is your space to come in, warm up, grab a little bite to eat. You know, if you just spending time in the woods, we call it tree therapy. But I feel like this is one of those spaces that's the same.
Hey, folks, JP, and real quick, we want to take a little time to say thank you to our sponsors. The first one being Ape Canyon. For over 40 years, the crew at Ape Canyon Outfitters has been keeping the best of the best safe. Fire rescue teams, law enforcement, the U.S. military, even the Secret Service and Navy SEALs. Yeah, these guys don't mess around when it comes to safety. And now they're bringing that same elite level of expertise to the hunting world with their hunting saddles, ropes, and accessories, all 100% made in the USA at their shop in Butler, Pennsylvania. Give hunters the same confidence and reliability the professionals have trusted for decades. So when you gear up with Ape Canyon Outfitters, you're not just getting solid gear, you're investing in safety, quality, and a rock-solid reputation. Check them out today at apecanyonOutfitters.com. And hey, while you're hanging out in your Ape Canyon saddle, why not send some Mamba arrows downrange? Mamba Archery is straight up changing the game with the first ever centrifugal weave arrows on the market. We're talking next level penetration, insane durability, and laser-like accuracy. Grab them in 1K, 3K, or straight carbon, whatever fits your shooting style. If you're looking to save some cash, the Impala line's got you covered. But if you're ready to step up your game with centrifugal weave tech, Mamba Archery is the way to go. Your wallet and your setup will thank you. So don't wait. Check out Mamba Archery today at mambaarchery.com and grab yourself some Mamba missiles. Big thanks to Ape Canyon Outfitters and Mamba Archery for helping sponsor this podcast. Now back to the show.
So this sits on 40 acres, and primarily I only hunt about 10 of it.
Okay.
Because back there in the timber, that's where all the bigger bucks like to stay. You will find bigger bucks in the front of the property, mostly just running, chasing doe.
Is it seasonal? Like that, what I mean by that is like, do they only stay up in that portion during the rut or?
Well, yes. One day I watched a giant buck breed a doe, fight off multiple bucks in that front holler from sun up till sundown. Could not get a shot because it's all thick, nasty brush. Right. And she was on the other side of the ravine and about 50 yards. And all day long I watched this. I nicknamed him Field Goal because he went straight out and he went straight up. And my jaw was on the floor all day long watching this buck. And this was before even cell phone cameras were decent enough that, you know, hey, look at this buck. Oh, you know, it's just impossible. Nice. You know, if I had the equipment I had now, I just zoom right in on him and at least would have got it. Would have got that. But that was one of the coolest experiences that I've had out here hunting is watching him lock down to a bed down doe, and these smaller scrub bucks would come in. And he would get up and he would chase them on out. And then as he's chasing them on out, another one's sneaking up from this way. So he'd come back and he just all day long kept doing that. Oh, man. And then I watched her, they bred about half a dozen different times. And this doe finally gets up. She's coming my side. And I could have shot the doe 20 yards. And the buck's just about to come out of the brush. Just for the perfect shot, you know, I'm drawn back and everything. I'm shaking, you know. And all of a sudden you can hear up on the ridge, back on the other side where the doe was, a buck goes, meh. And that doe just spooks and goes right back to where she laid down right on the other side of the ravine.
And she went right back to where
and that buck never stepped outside of that brush to give me that shot release. But I mean, I still think about it to this day, but I'm glad I got to witness all that.
Right. We talked about it the other day.
Best hunts.
We did. We talked about it the other day. We get drowned in social medias and everything that we do. But it is kind of funny how like before all that was a thing. You know, before social medias and like the cell phones that record great and all that. You know, you would have to take those mental notes. And it is funny. Like the one thing that I can say about hunting, those are the strongest mental notes I have, and out of all the things that I've done in my life, I can remember. You know, a turkey that I shot with my uncle at 11 years old. And I can, almost to where like I can smell the the gunpowder. You know what I mean?
Yep,
Like,
yep.
I find that wild that we don't share that with more people. You know what I mean? Like, why we live in a generation now where it's kind of going away, but
Right.
why how these kids don't even get to understand that, half the time anymore. So it's great to have home bases like this and teach kids and everything that you have done with a place like this. That's what makes this special to me, anyway. That's in my mind.
Right. Yep.
So, there's another story, and I wanted to start calling you Catman. I don't know if that piss you off or not.
I don't care.
And there's a reason.
My last name's Mann. I've been called just about everything.
What's the most memorable, most unique name you've been called?
Manhole. Like a street manhole.
Well, my last name's Ashworth, and people have called me Ashhole. So, I get it. But it was the story about the cat.
Yeah.
People just call me Keithy, and it's worse. I don't know if that's worse. My uncle told one of our other Ridge Ghost guys about my nickname, like my pet name, growing up when I was a kid, and he's the only one that calls me that. Like still to this day, because he still sees me as I'm little. But he let it slip one time at a show, and my buddy Steven, and you'll get to meet Steven over the summer and whatnot, but he caught on it quick. He could see it in my face, and I was like, why'd you say that? Like a little kid with a mom, like, why'd you say that in front of him? And now my kid, he's getting a kick out of it. But my littlest one, they've taught her that, and she's 3. It's either dad, depending on the mood, it's either dad or Keithy. And now it's getting more towards Keithy than it is dad, and I'm going to have to get on her about it. But they think it's hilarious.
I mean, y'all probably experienced this. You have dogs following you in the woods, sit at the base of your trees, kind of ruin your hunt. I mean, it's happened to probably a lot of people, depending on where you hunt. And, if you're close to somebody else's property that has dogs or whatever, it's a pain. But you, which is the reason why I was going to call you Catman, have a little different story.
Yeah. The first time I ever hunted out on this property, there's an old wooden stand that I went and sat in. And this cat followed me, climbed up, sat in my lap, and purred as loud as I could ever hear a cat purr. And busted me out with these does because she just sitting there grinding away. And these does, they're just locked right on me. And this cat's just... And so that was my very first hunt out on this property 15 years ago, I'd say, probably somewhere around there. And it's I never did hunt out of that stand again.
Right. Because he cat already knew where he's at. But
The cat hang around you? Did you ever see it again?
Yeah. He couldn't climb the metal ones as good as the wooden ones.
I figured he might
so that
have.
made noise too coming all the way out.
I figured he might have disappeared or something.
Oh yeah, he might have just caught. I don't know. What do they say that? How do they say that in the South? They call lead poison or something like that.
Oh yeah. But yeah. So 3 years making memories, and now you're you've got your YouTube channel, which you're at date of this recording. How many subscribers? What are you looking like?
Around 5,000 on YouTube.
Okay.
And then
nice.
How's that going?
it's been long 5 years on YouTube and the long game, and most of those views that I've had on there are the long form videos, which gets a lot less views than the shorts.
Right.
I mean, I started before the reels and the shorts even was a thing.
Right.
But it's going good. I have had, since I built this, I've dealt with so much online hate. It's not even funny. You're not a man. You're not a real hunter. And I call them self-proclaimed Jeremiah Johnsons, because if you ever seen that movie,
That's one of the best movies ever. Can you skin grizz? Can you skin grizz?
are you sure you can skin grizz?
That is an awesome movie.
So, I've got so much hate, but also that hate has also made these videos go viral and everything. And
Because the algorithm looks at it as engagement, whether it's good or bad.
Right.
That's why some
Right.
of the channels that are really polarizing do really well. So haters are your elevators, man. Y'all keep talking shit.
Yeah, y'all keep it up, dude. Like, what's funny about that too? Like, people actually think we care in that sense on that side of it. Like that's like I've had somebody like literally go, my daughter, and I'll tell you this story real quick. My daughter at school, she was like, "Hey, Dad, and this was bad back. I don't teach my kids to be like this. Trust me." But I was kind of proud of her. You know what I mean? Like, it was a stab back because she was defending Dad. And it was one of those trolls. And he was like, "Your dad's, he's an all right hunter. He don't do that well." And mine fired back quick, bud. She's real quick. She said, well, at least my dad's still around, homie. And I was like, oh, man. I didn't know. I was like, you didn't say that. She goes, I did. I went straight to the principal's office. I went, I bet you did. I was like, said, I'm not mad at you, but don't do that again. That was a solid burn, but don't do that again. Like,
and I take it you don't really engage them. Just let them say their thing because, I mean, arguing with somebody, keyboard warrior, but it does. I mean, and I've told people, I said, just let them talk. Just have a thick skin.
And here's my thing: if you keep it as everybody's entitled to their own opinion, like if you just tell yourself that, like for me, as like somebody that does it or has that happen to me, it's an opinion. That's all it is.
Right.
That's your opinion or your thought process, and if you're going to be negative and in that manner, I don't care anyway. You know what I mean? Like I just don't like I.
And that's the big divider in this industry, in the fishing industry, these communities. Just the bickering back and forth. You got to use this. You got to do it this way. You got to do it that way. I'm all about having fun, making memories, and just like this. You know, I had a clubhouse when I was a kid, and then I used to have a river camp that looked almost just like this down right on the river, and we ended up having to tear that down because it kept flooding, yeah. But so when I had a chance to jump on this and kind of recreate the river camp I had, I went all for it.
Well, yeah.
So.
Well, and you know, to be a community where everybody's so cool and all that, you would think that it wouldn't be like that. But man, we will eat our own.
Yes.
Fast.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like it's almost like you don't think that would happen in an industry where, you know. But then again, there's that whole deer camp thing's not really such a thing anymore.
No,
Right.
and the one bad apple ruins the bushel type thing, you know, like that's another one of those things in my mind when I see these haters or these trolls come in or say whatever. Just go have fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like, get over yourself, go have fun. Nobody cares if you're wearing this, wearing that. We don't care. I don't care if you show up to my camp. You can come to hunting camp and we won't kill nothing. But I promise you, when you leave, you'll be like, that was my favorite camp of the year. I promise you. Yeah. And if that isn't your goal, killing a bucket or killing a deer or killing something like that's a bonus. Like it's what it was, and that's what it should stay. It's a bonus. Go out there, create the memories, create the people you want to be around with, create your own world. That's what this is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yep.
And so, where do you see the industry going? As somebody, especially who's getting out there and seeing what comes each way,
and building from the organic side.
And
we were talking about
the organic side.
Like, we were talking about it earlier, but.
Yeah, building, if you're doing social media, building it organically is the way to go. It's going to take a long time. You're going to put a lot of time, money, and not get anything back. It was years before I started getting paid to do this stuff, you know. And so I'm just glad that I did have this opportunity to kind of create something. And like my YouTube, I started it as something for my kids to look back on, me to look back on, you know. Even my kids, they look back at those videos and they're like, I was so young, you know. It was only 3 years ago, you know, that I built this. Not that we had memories from before, but they're my little blood trackers. They're close to their ground and they're good at it too.
They're closer. You say they're closer to the ground. He said, "Wait, he threw that in there real slight. They're closer to the ground." There's a right. That's good.
But yeah, it's
Well, and that's another thing. I think a lot of people get discouraged because like anything worth building is going to take time.
Yes.
And you've got to grind. I mean, you didn't. I mean,
right.
Yeah, there are those flukes, those one-offs, those unicorns. But I mean, anything worthwhile, you put in the work. And when you're passionate about it, it doesn't seem so much like work. It's just like, hey, this is what I'm going to do.
This is what I want to do. Yeah, I think the
instant gratification culture is bad.
It is, but we live in it in such a manner though where somebody kills a 180, 200 inch deer in one area, he's going to get boosts from posts just because it's 180, 120, 100, 200 inch deer, whatever you want to say.
Right.
And then they'll plateau. You know what I mean? Because that was the one time that they, and that's the only view, that's the only perception they put out of themselves is they set that bar, you know what I mean? Way high. And there's a lot of people in this industry that are doing that now.
You just keep moving the field goal further and further.
Yes. And it's like, just go out and have fun. If your initial, first impression, like that's what this is when they get a chance to see us on these platforms. It's their first impression. You know what I mean? It's even if it's a new viewer, that the first impression of them seeing you shoot a 200 inch deer and they think that that's what they want to see you do.
Right.
And then now all of a sudden you have to compete with that. Like you have to
Yeah.
go,
You gotta
okay, well
compete
that
with
viewer,
yourself.
yes, that viewer wanted to see me do that. But it shouldn't be that way. It should be, somebody should be just as happy for you killing that, like you said, that Spoon and Crockbach buck,
Yeah.
and versus that Boone and Crockett buck.
Yeah.
They should. And if anybody else is out there that doesn't feel that way and you want to hate, by all means, you're going to be miserable. You're going to be by yourself.
Yes.
You won't be at my hunt camp. You know what I mean? And I'm
Yeah.
having fun. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
right.
Yep.
you won't.
Fun is what it's all about. If you're not having fun hunting, you're in it for the wrong reasons.
Michael Waddell says that all the time. Like you ever meet that guy in person? One of the first things he tells you, are you having fun? Or he'll look at you when you tell him about a story you had or something you did. He'll look at you. The reason he's so big is because you can walk up to that guy at anywhere and he'll treat you like we are sitting right here. And the first thing he's going to ask you is, first thing he's going to tell you is, you didn't outfun me this turkey season. I promise you,
You didn't
that.
outfun
That's what he's going to tell you. You didn't outfun me. But that culture, it's weird because if that's the culture and he built it, obviously he's one of the biggest names in the game. Why are more of us doing it?
Right.
Where did we get away from it?
Success leaves clues
Yes.
all the time.
Yes. So where do we get away from it where those things matter? You know what I mean? Like for somebody to say that, a 100-inch deer isn't as memorable as a 200-inch deer, to me, that sounds miserable.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That to me sounds miserable. Chad lost his mind on those does when he shot him. You'd have thought he really did shoot a 200-inch deer. You would have thought that's what was going on if you'd just seen the clip of his reaction.
Yeah.
No. I mean, here's what's even crazier. I know people and friends of mine in the industry that have shot 200-inch deer on camera and don't have nothing like what he had, in that reaction. That was a good deer, I'm excited about that, and you're like, okay, are you though?
Right.
So the message I'm trying to say is like, we should be putting a better message out. Essentially, we should be doing more stuff like you're saying, and you should call those people out. You should do those things because that's what this is. We're trying to change that.
Right.
So the time is recording, season's over. Got anything in mind, things you're looking at for next year? Any big boys walking around that you're...
Well, I'm hoping that monster I seen back here one afternoon this last fall still sticks around. He was on full run after a doe, so I didn't have no shot at him or anything, but I mean, he was huge.
Oh.
And I'm just like still dreaming about him. So I'm hoping he slipped through the season.
Right. We all, like I said, we all have those we want to slip through and see. Like I've got one that, well, I ain't even going to go down it. It sucks. I ain't even going to talk about it. It's hurt my feelings a little bit, but it's okay to have them ambitions. Okay to do a lot of those, where you do want that. Like when we were talking about, it's cool to have a place. Like when I said I have a place here that if I want to chase that goal of maybe hit the 200 one year, that might be a place that I can do it.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that's my mentality.
Right.
And like when you saying there, you favorite deer was, is no giant, but it's a great deer. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But it's cool to be excited about that and that. Like I love that. I love that. What's your goals for turkeys this year? I know that's coming up quick.
Well, get one on the ground. Last year it didn't turn out so hot. I had some jakes come in and I passed them up, thinking I got a little bit of time left. And the last day of season, I heard turkeys coming. The last day of season, and I ended up seeing something moving over there, over on the neighbor's property, and stands up. He's got a full display in front of his face, and he's trying to sneak up on these turkeys. I can't.
You watched it?
Yeah, I watched it. I got it on video.
We have to get a clip of that.
He's trying to sneak up on them.
Oh, gosh.
And, it was about time to leave anyway, and I kept hearing these turkeys, and he never did shoot.
Not once.
Yeah, and I never did see him, but you could hear him, but you could see him walking that field line. He was creeping with a full-on
turkey fan and everything.
Turkey fan and everything.
What do they call that? Reaping them? Isn't that what they call it? Reaping them?
Yeah.
I got a buddy that's like always serious about. We should go reap it, and I'm like, I just want to kill him. I don't want to crawl through it. Ticks. I won't crawl through that.
Yeah, ticks. Yeah, I was just.
Oh, I don't want to do
We were
that.
talking about off camera about
Reaping them
ticks.
might reap you, buddy. Like, it's a bad deal with these ticks.
Them seed ticks are horrible.
Oh, and then what was the one you said? I said it. They gave the alpha gal. I forgot what that was. What was that type of
Just
tick?
a Lone Star.
Yeah,
I believe.
Lone Star tick.
There's a alpha gal, so you're allergic to certain red meats and stuff. So
That's a bad deal. That'd be horrible. I couldn't do that.
And then last year, Lone Star came to town to play a concert, and I was out on my pontoon boat. And oh, there's a Lone Star tick. I'm listening to Lone Star live, and I'm out in the middle of the water, on my pontoon boat, and I didn't go hunting that day. It was summer, and
Water tick.
Boy, they're really trying to get you. They're just trying to get you.
Yeah.
Trying to turn the world vegan. You know what I mean? Like you said, they're trying to turn the world vegan.
They're planted by PETA.
not
Do
really.
you have any merch line, by the way? Anything like that that you guys do? You dabble with or anything?
I did, and usually I'll do like a line of hats every year.
Gotcha.
Do my own hats and stuff.
Cool.
All right. Well, man, we have thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you would tell the viewers where they can find you, all your platforms and everything.
You can find me YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Beards and Bows Outdoors.
Mediocre.
Yeah, and
Yep.
if you like cooking and wild game cooking, Mediocre Barbecue as well.
I'm down for that.
I
You
am
got to
too.
have me up for that sometime, though. Media, or we should do something. We should do something at camp sometime and
Oh,
collab there.
Yeah,
Yep.
Do a little collab. Do some wild game cooking on camp.
Open fire cooking's where it's at.
Okay, I'm down for it. We just built
right
a
over the open
sweet
fire.
pit.
Yeah,
yeah, we did. Well, good deal. Well, Mr. Mann, we appreciate it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us
All
up,
right.
man. This
Y'all
is
stay
awesome. This
tuned.
is
Make
awesome.
sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yes.